for it to be official if there's any more rain in the forecast. Nice to have Clint Blair, as promised, dropping by on the Hollywood. He's got a few minutes.
Wait a little bit.
So,
track looks dry.
We're going to hear some loud pipes today. It's going to happen.
Here's a test for you. I want you to say your crew chief's name.
Mike. Even I. But he owns it. Like, if you say Booger, he knows what you're talking about. Yeah.
Bugger Ravitch? Is that close enough?
Bugger Ravitch. Yeah, Bugger Ravitch. Yeah.
I know that.
I like that. Funny
they didn't call who's it? They didn't call him Blickenstruck. They called him Blick, right?
Yeah,
Bubba Wallace said, "Hey,
I got abbreviation."
How do you say that, like, in the heat of a moment?
Yeah.
You don't. It could get. Could be trouble. So how do you do
a couple of those, as a matter of fact.
By the way, it's nice of you to come in and Daryl heckling you right away, and you fired it right back at him.
Yeah, I mean, we're down to Boyer.
We're down to Boyer.
We're down to Boyer. Boy, we're getting desperate now.
Thank you for coming in. Jeez, we got a few minutes to go here. We always have good attitude, right? Even whether Michael's heckling you.
Any older in here, you're going to need rocking chairs.
I just wanted him to warm up a little bit. That's okay.
Hey, Clint, I mean, I think one of the reasons we got you in here was we're looking at the lap times from yesterday, and we talk about how good Kevin Harvick is here, but you look really good. I thought you were matching him time for lap for lap there.
All of our cars, Stewart Haas cars, are great. We qualified well. First time in a long time I can remember all 4 cars qualifying in the top 10. So the off season was good. Everybody's hard work is playing out just the way we hoped it to when you come to what we call the regular season. This track in particular, it's a grip track. You got to be able to make downforce, have good mechanical grip, and the guys have done that for us so far. So
you're a dirt tracker. You can pull that off.
You definitely do some dirt track, and whether you're up on the boards or down on the line, you know Kevin's going to be right down on that yellow line like he was yesterday. He's perfected that line. He does it so well. The car to beat, that, but I think we're capable of doing that, and the Fords are all strong, so I'm looking forward to today. Did you hear me?
Yes, today. You want to get this race in.
Yes. I've heard we have to do it today because
there's rain in the forecast.
You've got a hair appointment, and you've got an appearance Tuesday. Or you got something to do.
I have something to do. Absolutely. I got to.
Can't do TV.
I like that salt and pepper look. No, but I got to ask you a question.
I like your Dish TV thing. That's nice, by the way. The Fox Sports Go bit you do. That's good.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Thank you.
I like that too.
Yeah, we're still on.
I want to ask you a question, serious question.
Your attention span is
I may not ever get around to it, but I'd like to ask you a question. Drivers,
yes.
the pit crews, the way the adjustment's been made with the pit crews, do you think that puts more pressure on a driver to hurry up and get the pit road, to hurry up? Because we saw Kyle Busch make a mistake yesterday, and I think a lot of that was just trying to maybe make up for the pit crew.
Well, Darryl, as we saw last year, you got to be careful not to hurry up and get to your pit stall. You got to do a good job getting in your pit stall. That's where it really makes a difference.
Speeding penalties.
A lot of pit road penalties. Speeding penalties last year. You got to be mindful of that. You got to remember that. For whatever reason, the way they've measured pit road out, it threw everybody for a loop last year. So I think everybody's adjusted for that a little bit. But getting in the box, making sure you're right on your marks to where they can be on their marks, because having one less guy really throws everything for a loop if you're not.
Do you look for the? I know there's signals, but I know Kevin Harvick had said, hey, it took some getting used to, because I'd watch for certain guys to do certain things, and then I'd go, and now that's changed a little.
Well, I mean, everybody, when you're getting into your box, you know it, Jeff. You get around there, and when the guys are coming around for the right side, you have your things you do. You put it back in gear, heel toe it, your foot, your heel's on the brake, you're keeping the thing running, your foot's on the clutch, so you're ready to launch. That moment, from the time you do that to the time the jack goes down, is a lot longer. We're talking like whatever water you had in the bottle, you might as well drink it. Like now, you used to just, by like, you would almost feel those guys as they got done. Now, you're literally over there watching them. Come on, Fred, let's go.
Clint, I mean, it's hard for us not to go back to 2016, a very tough year for you. Then last year, I think all of us, including yourself, looked at, all right, he's going to Stewart Haas. Man, he's just going to light it up. And it didn't quite come, and I know there's a lot of changes to the team, but are you expecting, like I think all of us are expecting, this is going to be the year for you?
Well, this is the year. I mean, it has to happen this year, or who knows what the future holds. And you know that as a driver. I'm no dummy to this, been in it a long time, but this is the opportunity. Last year there was a lot of unknowns. We know what we got now. We know our strengths. We know our weaknesses. More importantly, you got to focus on those weaknesses and, and shine on those strengths. And I think we can do that because of the notebook we've built. And first year in a long time that I know everything. You know what I mean? I know the crew chief that I'm going to have. Oh, I mean, it's crazy. crazy. You really think back, it's been almost 4 years since I've started the season out with the same group of guys. And
you brought
a notebook.
Up. We never said a word about
Didn't have to build another notebook.
So you've had 6 career playoff appearances. I know you had 5 wins back with RCR. I think it was 3 with Michael Waltrip racing here, and now with this turn. Talk about maybe Ford overall and how not just Stewart-Haas, but whether it's Penske or Roush are working together.
Well, when you think of Ford, you think of family. It literally is family. When you're in meetings, it's Etzel. His last name's Ford.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think when you think of the drivers in our meetings and our talks, it feels like family. It feels like it's an army of one, and everybody works together, whether it was last week at Daytona or not. Within our Stewart-Haas walls, it's neat to bring on Eric, and all 4 of us are hitting on all 8 cylinders, just like what we saw in qualifying. So that group effort is where our success is going to come from, and we had 1 car run good last. Got to get all 4 cars running good.
So when Tony Stewart comes in, I asked Eric, and he's very encouraging.
It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, and when he gets
he's the owner,
late, I'm sure.
He's the owner.
So what does he tell you? What does he tell you? I mean, what does he come to Clint Bowyer and say? Look, Bowyer, you need to do this or you need to do that.
Tony is the boss of the driver. He always takes that role, and it's neat to have that as a boss. And Richard Childress, even when he was an owner, he always took that approach. He always took the driver's side and went to bat for you, and Tony is no exception. It's neat to have an owner that was a driver, has felt all the things. I saw Eric's interview just a little bit ago about his interview. You wouldn't think that Tony would be that guy to stand up and say that, but he really is, and uses his past experiences for your game.
Yeah, Tony's done a lot of things for a lot of people that you never hear about behind the scenes. Very kind, heartfelt things.
Got a big heart.
And we saw you with Cash, your son, and I know Kevin talked about Keelan, who we see a lot, and a number of the drivers with family and young kids out here. So we see them. They're okay race day. So what do you do, Clint, in that in-between time? I mean, how are they? Do you still have to keep them busy here so they don't get,
You wish you had another 40 feet. That 40-foot bus isn't big enough for 2 kids and a wife that's been putting up with him for 2 days.
It gets a little, especially if it's raining out.
Tight in there. You need another bus. Your bus is not occupied right now.
What are you going to rent over there?
No, I'm solo. You need some extra space.
I borrow yours?
Sure.
Come over and see his grandfather if you'd like.
But it's important for you to have them around, right?
It's
better
so
than
important. It's so fun to have your family. She said, hey, if there's a strong chance of rain, what do you think? Should we just go home? I'm like, heck no, man. We're all family. We're doing this as family, just the way it was when I was a kid growing up racing motorcycles. We've always been in a motorhome chasing this dream of racing, and still is that way today.
A lot of dirt track background. You still do any dirt track racing? You got anything coming up?
Well, I was down in Speed Weeks. I was with the late model guys all 3 weeks of it. We were in East Bay, Ocala, Volusia, Brunswick, Georgia. We were racing all over down there, watching the guys and helping.
Because you own one of those teams, right?
2 dirt late model teams in the Lucas Oil Series. So have a lot of fun doing that. It means a lot to me. It's fun to get back to your roots and what you grew up doing. You just feel at home.
No behind the wheel?
These guys, well, one of them's a big guy and really short. I can't fit in his seat very well without a pillow.
Just give it time.
And the other guy,
you'll make it.
It'll happen.
Hey, Clint, we had...
But no, I don't. To answer your question, I don't get in it. I enjoy being a part of it, but just being around it and helping out on the cars is enough for me.
We've had an array of drivers come in, different age range from, Kevin, who's 42, you're in your late 30s, and we had some of the young drivers, and this wave of really like 20-year-olds, and then there's even like the Logano in their late 20s, and Austin Dillon, who's had success. Do you treat a driver differently out on the track when you're racing them based on their experience, who they are, what you know about them?
Well, I think it depends on what track you're at. Last week at Daytona, you're watching these kids up there 3 wide, and they're tank swapping, getting in the corner. You're like, and they're wrecking. Yeah, I saw that one coming.
Hey, 2016.
The only problem was when I did that, mine blew up.
Oh, okay.
2016, I said, man, what's the problem? He said, my car hates me.
Well, hopefully it'll be good today.
It's a hateful year.
Well, treat them well today. Thanks for coming in. All right,
thanks, guys.
Enjoy yourself.
Looking forward to today. I think it's going to be a good one.
It is Stewart-Haas Ford. It's going to be a fun day. Clint, always. There's Daniel Suarez with some of the younger drivers we're talking about. The pressure on here in Atlanta. We're going racing here within about 30 minutes, we hope, if the weather cooperates.